Good morning, students. Today we are going to do Act 2, Scene 5 of The Merchant of Venice. So let us begin with the drama, Act 2, Scene 5. Shylock tells Jessica to lock the house properly when he goes for dinner with Bassanio. So before going for dinner now, Shylock is set and ready for going for dinner with Bassanio. Earlier he denied for the same, right? Now he agreed, he decided to go for the dinner at Bassanio's place. Before leaving his house, he's asking Jessica to look after his house. Shylock has an evil foreboding, so he gets a dream. That is what the evil foreboding, what is spoken over here. He gets a dream the previous night about money bags, where he finds that something wrong is going to happen in his life. So that a pre-message sort of thing he gets. Okay, he's happy that Lancelot is gone. At the same time, Shylock is happy that Lancelot has left his job. Okay, he was fed up with Lancelot. That's what you can see over here. Jessica bids farewell to her father. Jessica says goodbye to her father. This irony, the irony is that Shylock's forebodings are right. So the irony over here, what you can see over here is that whatever dreams or pre-message that Shylock gets the previous night about the money bags and all was true. That is what you can see in this particular scene. Her father's absolute faith in her comes as a contrast to her betrayal. So he trusted his daughter and he gave all the wealth, the keys, everything to his daughter, and he leaves the house for the dinner, right? Trusting her. But she betrays her father. That is what you can see. Who? Jessica betrays her father. That is what you can see in this particular scene. Okay, let us begin. The scene is taking place in Venice. So back again we are going to Venice. Before Shylock's house, the scene is taking place before Shylock's house. There enter Shylock and Lancelot. So Shylock and Lancelot enters. Shylock says, "Well, thou shalt see that I shall be thy judge, the difference of old Shylock and Bassanio. What, Jessica? Thou shalt not gormandize, as thou hast done with me. What, Jessica? And sleep and snore and rend apparel out. Why, Jessica, I say." Okay, so this is what you can see over here. Shylock says, "Well, thou shalt see that I shall be thy judge." Well, you will see, he says. Thou shalt see means you will see that I shall be thy judge. Your eyes will be the judge. Your eyes will be the judge. You will see. Your eyes will be the judge. This is what he's telling him. The difference of old Shylock. What is he going to see? Who? Lancelot. What is he going to see? What Shylock is saying that he is going to see, and his eyes are going to be the judge. Let us see. He says, the difference of old Shylock and Bassanio. You are going to see. Now you have left my job, you joined Bassanio. So you are going to see the difference between your old master Shylock and your new master Bassanio. This is what he says. What, Jessica? Then he moves and he calls out to Jessica. Jessica, he's calling out. Where are you? He says. What, Jessica? Means where are you? He's saying. Thou shalt not gormandize. Then he's turning to Lancelot and speaking back again. You shall not gormandize, in the sense you won't overeat. You won't stuff yourself. This is what he's saying. You won't overeat. You won't stuff yourself. As thou hast done with me, as you have done over here at my place, the way you used to overeat, the way you used to stuff yourself, same way you are not going to stuff yourself or overeat at your new master's place. This is what he's telling Lancelot. What, Jessica? Then he's again calling out to Jessica. Jessica, where are you? He's saying. And sleep and snore and rend apparel out. So according to Shylock, Lancelot used to overeat, he used to only sleep and snore. No work he used to do. This is what Shylock says about Lancelot. But we had seen what Lancelot thinks about Shylock and what viewpoint Lancelot is having about Shylock. Shylock is a person who never gave him enough to eat. This is what Lancelot said earlier, right? So over here you can see a different side of it, isn't it? And rend apparel out and wear out. Okay, your that is what about clothes is said. Okay, your clothes. So the way you are. So render apparel out it is. Wear holes in your clothes just by eating. Wear out your clothes quickly. You spoil your clothes quickly. So this is what. Then again he's turning to Jessica on the other side. Speaking to Lancelot at the same time he's speaking to, calling out to Jessica. He's calling out. Why, Jessica, I say, can't you hear me? He's telling Jessica. Why, Jessica, can't you hear me, Jessica? He says. So this is what he says to Jessica. Then Lancelot also says, why Jessica? So he's repeating what his master said. So same thing he's saying, why Jessica? Can't you hear Jessica? He's saying, Lancelot also says. So on this Shylock says, who bids thee call? I do not bid thee call. So he says, who told you to call Jessica? I didn't tell you. I never told you to call Jessica. Then why did you call? He's asking Lancelot. On this Lancelot says, your worship was wont to tell me that I could do nothing without bidding. So he says, your worship. So he's addressing him very politely, respectfully. He says, you always said that I don't do anything. I never did anything without your order. That is what he says. Could do nothing without bidding. And never did anything without your order. So I'm doing it. Without your order itself, I'm doing it. You always had a complaint, no, that I never did anything without your order. So I'm doing it. This is what he said. So on this Jessica says, call you, what is your will? She says, did you call me? Jessica comes. And then Jessica says, did you call me? She's asking her father, did you call me? What is your will? What do you want? What do you want? He's asking she's asking her father. So on this Shylock says, I am bid for to supper, Jessica. There are my keys, but wherefore should I go? I'm not bid for love, they flatter me, but yet I'll go in hate to feed upon the prodigal Christian. Jessica, my girl, look to my house. I'm right loath to go. There is some ill a-brewing towards my rest, for I did dream of money bags tonight. This is what he says. So I'm bid forth to supper. So he says, I am bid forth. I'm being invited for supper. Who says this? Shylock says, I am invited for supper. Jessica is telling Jessica. There are my keys. Here are my keys, he says. He's handing over the key to Jessica. Here are my keys, he says. But wherefore should I go? I don't know why I'm going. Okay, so why I'm going? I don't know why I'm going. Wherefore, in the sense, why? I don't know why I'm going, he says. I'm not bid for love. I know that I'm not invited out of love. So he knows. He says, Shylock says, I'm not invited out of love. They flatter me. They are just flattering me. Who are flattering me? Bassanio, Antonio, and those team, right? So that is what he says. But yet I'll go in hate to feed upon. But still I will go in hatred. Okay, out of hatred, I will go over there. This is what he says. To feed upon, to eat over there with the prodigal Christian, with the spendthrift. Prodigal Christian, whom is he referring to? Prodigal Christian, he refers to Bassanio. Bassanio is the prodigal Christian. Spendthrift Christian, he's saying over here. Now, what do you understand by prodigal Christian? Prodigal Christian is a reference of from the Bible. Okay, the prodigal son who who spends all his wealth, his money, everything he spends lavishly, okay, on lavish and careless expenditure. He just loses all his wealth and his money. So that is a prodigal son. So it's a reference from the Bible, a story from the Bible which has been referred. Now here in this text, who is the prodigal son referred to? Bassanio. To Bassanio, Shylock is referring as a prodigal son. You know, he's a spendthrift, isn't it? He lived a life, an extravagant life, you know, isn't it? Who? Bassanio lived an extravagant life by spending lavishly. So that is why he's being considered as this prodigal Christian over here. Fine. Jessica, my girl, he says, looks to my house. Okay, look to my house. So he says, he turns to Jessica and says, I'm going there to eat that spendthrift's food. I'm going to eat that prodigal son's food. He says, and he's turning to Jessica and says, Jessica, my girl, he says to Jessica, look to my house. You just look after my house, he tells Jessica. I'm right, Lord, to go. Really, I don't want to go, but I am forced over here. I'm going over there, not because I just want to go over there. I really hate to accept the invitation of these Christians. In spite of that, I'm going, he says, right? That is what he means over here by this phrase, I'm right, Lord, to go. I really don't want to go. There is some ill a-brewing towards my rest. I have got a premonition. Premonition of what? That something bad is going to happen in my life, isn't it? And how? For I did dream of money bags tonight, because I dreamt of money bags last night, and which is a bad omen according to him. Dreaming something of money bags at night was a bad omen, what Shylock considered. That is what he says. Okay, and that is what he thinks, that it's something bad is going to happen in his life. So with that premonition, he's going. Okay. So Launcelot, I beseech you, sir, go. My young master doth expect your reproach. So he say, I beseech you, I beg you, I beg of you, sir. He's telling Shylock, I beg of you, sir. My young master doth expect your reproach. My young master Bassanio is looking forward for your reproach. Actually, he's misusing the word reproach. Actually, he wants to use over here approach. Is waiting for your approach, and he is wrongly using the word. Instead of saying that arrival, he says reproach, right? Shylock, so do I his. So Shylock is using this reproach word, whatever he has used over here, in a villainous manner. He's using it. Okay, so do I his. So it's given over here. Shylock takes the word reproach literally and says that he expects Bassanio's reproach if his villainous scheme succeeds. So the scheme, whatever he is planning, the bond scheme, whatever is planning, if he succeeds, then he too is waiting for it. That is what he is planning. So he's having a different intention in his mind, right? Villainous intention he is having in his mind, Shylock. So according to that meaning, he says, so do I his. So on this, Launcelot says, and they have conspired together. I will not say you shall see a mask, but if you do, then it was not for nothing that my nose fell a bleeding on Black Monday, last at 6 o'clock in the morning. Falling out that year on Ash Wednesday was 4 years in the half. So here Launcelot is saying by mistake, and they have conspired together, he says. So by mistake, he says, and they have planned something. Launcelot says that they have planned. Now whom he is saying that they have planned? He is referring to Lorenzo. Lorenzo and Jessica have planned, that we know, isn't it? They have planned this opportunity they are trying to use over here, and they are planning to elope from Shylock's house. So that is what he says by mistake. Launcelot, it comes out from Launcelot's mouth, right? And they have conspired together. They have planned something. Then he changes the topic. That is what you can see over here. So you can see without any link he is speaking over here. That is what I want to focus over here. I will not say you shall see a mask. So I want to say exactly what I want to say is that you shall see a mask. Go as far as to say that. I'm going exactly as far as to say that you shall see a mask. But if you do, then it was not for nothing that my nose fell. So if you do that, if you do it, then it was not nothing that my nose fell a bleeding on black. So he says, if you do it, changing the topic and speaking something out of, you say, mere nonsense is saying over here. That is what you can see over here. It was not for nothing that my nose fell a bleeding on black. So he says, an unexpected bleeding of the nose is speaking over here. Unexpected bleeding of the nose was an omen for misfortune. So that is what he says. My nose was bleeding on Black Monday, he says. Black Monday. Now what is this Black Monday? The Black Monday is the Monday, the following Monday of Easter. Easter is on Sunday, isn't it? Easter in the sense is the resurrection period, isn't it? Resurrection of Christ is considered as Easter. So celebrate the resurrection of Christ. So the next Monday, that is what he is referring. So Launcelot plays on Shylock's superstitious nature over here by referring to the Easter Monday of 1360 when Edward III's army was caught in the black fog and cold outside Paris. Many soldiers froze to death. So that is what he is speaking over here. Monday last at 6 o'clock in the morning, he says. Okay, first he says 6 o'clock in the morning. Then he says falling out that year on Ash Wednesday. So you can see over here, Ash Wednesday never comes after this Monday, right? Ash Wednesday is before this. That is the Lent period, Lent season. After that you have Good Friday, you have the Easter and all. And then after the Easter, the following Monday of Easter has been spoken over here. Then he is referring to Wednesday. Ash Wednesday is referring over here, which has no link, no connectivity at all over here. That is what he is speaking. So you can see the explanation given over here on the right hand side. The first day of Lent, on this day people put ashes on their forehead That is Ash Wednesday. That is the resemblance of Ash Wednesday. You might be remembering this, isn't it? They put ash, they draw a cross on their forehead. So this is done with the ash. This is done to remind people that they have come from the soil and they have to go back to soil, right? That is what it reminds human being. So Lent is a period of prayer and penance in preparation for Easter. That is Lent season, Lent time. That is what you have, Ash Wednesday, from where the Lent starts, right? Then, so it is absurd of Launcelot to talk of Easter Monday and Ash Wednesday, going back to Ash Wednesday, falling at the same time as there is a gap of 40 days between Ash Wednesday and Easter. So between them, so that is what he is speaking over here. He says Monday last at 6 o'clock in the morning, he says, falling out that year on Ash Wednesday, he says. Okay, so Launcelot, this event took place last year, he says. Then he says that it happened 4 years ago. That is what you can say. It was 4 years in the afternoon. Okay, so he says that it happened in the morning and then he says in the afternoon. So there is no connectivity at all in what Lancelot is speaking. Just he wants to hide the matter, what he said. He spoke about the plan over here by mistake, right? They have conspired together. That conspiracy, you know, the conspiracy between Jessica and Lorenzo. That conspiracy he brought to light over here to Shylock. That is what he is hiding with all these things, right? Then let us move to Shylock's, what Shylock says over here. What are their masks? Hear you me, Jessica. Lock up my doors, and when you hear the drum and the wild squealing of the very naked fifth, cramble not you up to the casements then, nor thrust your head into the public street to gaze on Christian fools with varnished faces, but stop my house's ears, I mean my casements. Let not the sound of shallow foppery enter my sober house. By Jacob's staff, I swear, I have no mind of feasting forth tonight, but I will go. Go you before me, Sirrah, say I will come. So this is what Shylock says. What are their masks? So here, you know, for dinner, for Bassanio's dinner party, Lorenzo and his team, they have planned for the masquerades. Masquerades wherein they wear masks, they color their face. So those days they used to color their face wherein you couldn't identify who were the people, right? So in such a manner they used to color their face. So this was planned by these people, by Bassanio, Lorenzo and his team, only to make it favorable for Lorenzo and Jessica to elope, right? So that was the plan for Lorenzo and Jessica to elope from Shylock's house. They have planned for the masquerade, and that was the thing what they were introducing for Bassanio's dinner party, right? That is what you can see over here. So that is what came to light right now. Now Shylock was given the hint of masquerades over here by Launcelot. So then he is explaining it. What are they mask? What are they going to do with mask? He started saying, Shylock. So here you me, Jessica. Listen to me, Jessica. He's calling out to Jessica. He tells Jessica, Jessica, you listen to me. He says to his daughter, lock up my doors. You lock up all the doors. He's advising her to lock up, to close all the doors. And when you hear the drum and see masquerades, this masquerade is a procession in which all these people who were participating in the masquerade, they used to color their faces and they used to come in the procession with the drum beat, with the fife and all. They used to come. Now what is fife and all, I will explain to you. So with all these things, they used to come. It was a noisy procession, you can say, right? It was a noisy procession. So such a noisy procession is to come through the streets, right? So that is why he's asking his daughter to close the doors. He's asking her, and when they play the drum, on hearing the sound of the drum, he's advising her not to go on top to see the raid, to see the masquerade. This is what he says. You can see, and when you hear the drum and the wild squealing and that unpleasant shrill notes, which unpleasant shrill notes of the very naked fifth, the curved fifth. Now fifth is a flute-like instrument, okay, which is curved. That is why it is said as very necked. Very necked means crooked necked or curved necked, you can say. Fine. Fifth. So fifth, it is a flute-like instrument which had a crooked type of a neck, not this type of a flute, but a crooked type of a flute, a small flute, which was having a curved mouth and pieced like a bird's beak, right? So that was a fife, a musical instrument used. So they used to play this flute-like instrument. So when you hear the sound of this fife and the drum, he's asking his daughter, clamber not you up. You don't climb up. When you hear the sound of these musical instruments, don't climb up to the casements, to the window. Don't climb up to the window and not thrust your head into the public street, and don't put your head out in the public street to see this procession. That is what he's advising her. He's asking her to close all the doors and not to climb the window and look out to see this procession. That is what he's asking her, Jessica over here. Not trust your head out in the public street. To gaze on Christian fools with one is to stare, to look at those Christian fools who are going to come with varnished face. Varnished face means painted with masks, okay, mask, okay, that is what he's saying. But stop my house's ears, I mean my casements, okay. So he's saying, but close my house's ears. House has got ears. Now, what is the ears of the house? Are windows. That is what he's saying. That is what he's saying. I mean my casements. I mean to close the shutters of my windows. He's saying over here. Okay. So this is what he tells Jessica, to close the house's ear, to close the windows of his house. Let not the sound of shallow foppery enter my sober house. And don't, he says, don't allow this foolishness, the foolishness of sound to enter my sober house, peaceful house. Don't allow that sound to enter my peaceful house. Okay. So this foppery in the sense foolishness is saying over here. Right. By Jacob's staff, I swear I have no mind of feasting forth tonight. So he's saying, Shylock is swearing upon Jacob's staff. Now, who is Jacob? Jacob is the grandson of Abraham. Abraham is the father of the Jewish race, right? Abraham, the founder of the Jewish race, is Abraham. Abraham's grandson is Jacob. Shylock is swearing upon Jacob. Jacob's staff. Now, what do you understand by this? Jacob, according to the biblical stories, you can say Jacob boasts that he had only his staff when he crossed river Jordan. And he returned with the companies of men. So this is from the biblical reference what he is saying. So he is saying, I swear that I have. So over here he says he had no intention of going for the party. Which party? Bassanio's party. Dinner. He had no intention at all to attend Bassanio's dinner party. Why do you think he's not having any intention to attend that party? You know, he had a message, isn't it? A pre-message what he had got. That is the dream what he had seen about money bags and coins. What he considered as a bad omen. An evil thing is going to happen in his life. This is what he understood from that dream, isn't it? So according to the dream, he was not at all willing to go attend this dinner party. But still he is going out of revenge that he had in his mind. What was the revenge? The revenge what he wanted to take on Antonio. And this is the right time wherein he wanted to sign the bond with them, isn't it? In order to sign that bond, or in order to get along with the bond, for that revenge sake, he is saying no to all these things, isn't it? About the bad omen and all. He keeps it, everything he keeps aside, and he moves ahead without any interest, without any willingness of his joining the party or attending or dining with them at tonight, isn't it? Still he is going to feast with them. I have no mind, that's what he's saying. I don't feel like eating with those Christians. Feasting forth tonight, I have no mind at all, but still I will go, he says. Go you before me. Then he is asking to Lancelot, you go ahead of me, Sirrah, he says. Sirrah, addressing the servant, right? Go you before me, Sirrah, so I will come. So he says, and I will come, and tell them that I am coming. Whom? Bassanio. Go before me and inform them that I am coming. This is what he is sending a message through Lancelot. So Lancelot said, I will go before Sir. Mistress, look out at window for all this. There will come a Christian by, will be forth a Jew's eye. So this is what he says. I will go before you. Yes, sir, I am going before you, he says to Shylock. Mistress, then he is calling out to Jessica and says, Mistress, you look out for all these things. Whatever he said not to look out for, you look out for all these things, because you are going to gain from it. Because that is what he is saying. You look out of the window for all this. There will come a Christian by, and there a Christian is going to come. That is, Lorenzo is going to come. That is what is informing her indirectly. Will be worth a Jew's eye, which will be worth than a Jew's eye. So that is a proverbial expression, which means great value, which is much more valuable than the Jew's eye. That is what he says over here. Lorenzo will be more worth than a Jew. Fine. So this reference is to Jewish financial payments made in medieval times in order to escape having an eye removed in case of default. If they were not paying, then one eye will be removed out. So with that expression, this has been taken from that expression. This particular expression is taken over here, right? So this is what he means over here. So here, this is what he says to her, and on this, Shylock feels that he was talking to her, and there Lancelot goes away, and Shylock suspects him, something he spoke to her. So on this, he asked Jessica what he said. So that is what you can see. What says that fool of Hagar's offspring? He says, what says? Now, who's this Hagar's offspring? Hagar's offspring is referred to Lancelot. Now, Hagar's offspring the meaning is given over here. So, you can see over here. So, Hagar's, the genital, the people ignored by the Jews. The people ignored by the Jews were supposed to be descended from Hagar, came from Hagar, right? Hagar is the slave women. Hagar is the slave women whom they ignored, who the Jews ignored. And this slave women was a maid to Abraham's wife Sarah. Okay, Abraham's wife Sarah. So she was a maid to Abraham's wife Sarah. So the Jews traced their line back to Sarah. So they went back to Sarah. So Lancelot is the servant, and he is said to be Hagar's offspring, a son of Hagar. Okay, so coming from that descendant, coming from that order, that may be not direct son, grandson, something like that. Okay, so something like that. They considered them as servants, as they looked them as down upon. Fine. So this is what has been spoken about Hagar's offspring. Hagar's offspring is a reference given to Lancelot. Jessica says, his words were farewell, mistress, nothing else. So Jessica is hiding the fact what he spoke over there. So she says, nothing he said, he only said goodbye. That's it, nothing else he said. That is the thing what he said, is it? So on this Shylock says, the patch is kind enough, but a huge feeder, snail slow in profit, and he sleeps by day, more than the wild cat. Drones hive not with me, therefore I part with him and part with him. To one that I would have him help to waste his borrowed purse. Well, Jessica, go in. Perhaps I will return immediately. Do as I bid you. Shut doors after you. Fast bid, fast find. A proverb never stale in thrifty mind. So this is what Shylock says. The patch is kind enough. Now, whom is he calling the patch? He is calling patch at Lancelot. He is calling Lancelot as patch, right? So patch means clown. Clown. The clown with those... Clowns wear multicolored dresses with patches and all, isn't it? So gestures, clowns are, so that is what patch means over here. So that fool, that lad, whatever you can say over here, is kind enough. Means he is harmless. He is harmless. Who? Lancelot is harmless, but a huge feeder. But he eats a lot, right? He eats a lot. He's a huge eater. This is what he says. Snail slow in profit, and in work he is snail slow, as slow as a snail, very slow. You know how the snail walks, so as slow as the snail in doing the work. This is what he says. And he sleeps by day, and he sleeps more. He sleeps more. That is what he says. More than the wild cat. And wild cat is an animal which sleeps throughout the day. Whole day it sleeps. So Lancelot sleeps more than the wild cat. That is what he says. Drones I have not with me. So drone, male bee is drone, and male bee is always lazy, never does anything, isn't it? Never does the work, and simply sits and eats what the female bee does. Okay, the honey, nectar, whatever is collected by the female, the male enjoys with it. Never does the work, very lazy in doing the work. So Lancelot is compared with the snail, with the drone, with wild cat, with all these things, right? Therefore I part with him. Therefore I send him away. I'm fed up with him. That's why I have sent him away and part with him. And that's it. I don't want such a servant at all. This is what Shylock says. To one that I would have him help to waste, and with someone whom he can help out to waste. Bassanio borrowed money from Shylock. Antonio is borrowing money from Shylock for Bassanio's sake, isn't it? Bassanio is considered a spendthrift. The spendthrift needs some money to go to Belmont to woo Portia. That is why he needs money. So that is why he's a spendthrift. That is what he's considering. His borrowed purse. So this one will go over there and help him to waste his borrowed purse. Bassanio borrowed money from Shylock. So Lancelot will help him to waste that. After all, Bassanio is a person who wastes, a spendthrift person, always lives a lavish life and would prefer to waste. And such a person, in such a person's company, they both will go together. That is what he says over here. Did you get it? Well, Jessica, go in. So he's telling back to Jessica, okay, fine, Jessica, you just go in. Perhaps I will return immediately and I will be back very soon. This is what he tells Jessica. Do as I bid you and do as I have told you, he tells her. Shut doors after you. So lock the doors after you. Behind you, you lock the doors. Get inside, lock the doors. This is what he's telling her. Fast bind, fast find. So that's the meaning of this is fast bind. If you close everything and if you keep it, you will find it safe. That is what it means. If you keep everything safely, you will find it safely. It will remain safe and secured. This is what it means. A proverb, never stale in thrifty mind. So that means the proverb that is never old fashioned for a careful man. Okay, that is what fast bind, whatever you keep safely, you will find it secured. Okay, that is what it means. Jessica, farewell, and if my fortune be not crossed, and I have a father, you a daughter lost. So Jessica also says there, after saying this, Shylock goes. After that, Jessica also says she was watching out, and this is what she says: farewell, goodbye, father. She too says, and if so this was her last goodbye for her father. You can see. So that is what she says over here. And if my fortune be not crossed, okay, and if nothing goes wrong in my plans, with the plans what I have made with Lorenzo, then I have a father, you a daughter lost. If nothing went wrong, then this is what she had lost a father. So with this, I had lost a father. So I have a father. That means she had lost a father and he had lost a daughter, you a daughter. Okay, so he had lost a daughter. So she went inside and then she shuts the door. So with this, the scene is ending over here. So next class we will be doing the next scene. Till then, thank you very much.